Radio Australia News. I'm Wendy Everett. The headlines. The target of London's terrorist attack are identified. International concerns about sorcery-related killings in Papua New Guinea. And tributes for Australian social campaigner Hazel Falk. The soldier killed on a London street by two men armed with machetes and meat cleavers has been identified as a 25-year-old father. US correspondent Barbara Miller reports.
The dead soldier is 25-year-old drummer Lee Whitney. He was working in recruitment at the time of his brutal murder in the suburb of Woolwich, but had previously served in Afghanistan. His family has issued a statement saying the father of a 2-year-old boy would do anything for anybody. The two men who allegedly hacked him to death remain under guard in separate London hospitals after being shot by police at the scene. It's understood both were known to security services. One of them, 28-year-old Michael Adebalaggio, is thought to have converted to Islam after leaving college. Two further people have been arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to murder. Barbara Miller, ABC News, London.
The Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, has defended British foreign policy in the wake of the savage attack.
It is completely wrong to blame this killing on the religion of Islam. But it is also equally wrong to try to draw any link between this murder and the actions of British policies who are risking their lives abroad for the sake of freedom. The fault lies wholly and exclusively in the warped and deluded mindset of the people who did it.
The US President Barack Obama has defended using unmanned drones to kill suspected terrorists overseas, but he's imposing limits on how they're used in the future. North America correspondent Lisa Miller reports the commitment came in a major speech on national security. In a shift in policy, the US will now use drones to target suspects who pose a continuing and imminent threat. The White House has revealed 4 Americans have been killed by drones overseas since 2009. The president acknowledged the critics but told the drones have worked.
Flights have been disrupted that would have targeted international aviation, U.S. transit systems, European cities. Simply put, these strikes have saved lives.
The president, heckled by a protester, described the US as being at a crossroads in the war on terror. Lisa Miller, ABC News, Washington. Amnesty International says evictions, torture and the treatment of religious minorities are major concerns in the Asia-Pacific region. Joanna McCarthy reports.
Amnesty International has released its annual report into the state of human rights around the world. It's highlighted concerns about sorcery-related killings and assaults in Papua New Guinea, police brutality in Fiji, and forced evictions in China. It's also praised Myanmar for releasing hundreds of prisoners of conscience and allowing the Red Cross to inspect the country's prisons. Amnesty's Claire Lawrenson says there are concerns, though, about the treatment of Muslim minorities in the country. Hundreds of thousands displaced following the armed conflict, and the Rohingya in particular discriminated against, persecuted. The report also criticised Thailand's plans to return refugees to Myanmar, where it says they still face significant risks. Joanna McCarthy, ABC News.
Malaysian police have arrested a student activist and several opposition politicians in a new crackdown on dissent. They've all been charged under the country's controversial Sedition Act. The arrests are thought to be in connection with calls to protest against alleged fraud during the May 4th election. Police also raided the offices of opposition newspapers and seized thousands of copies of their publications. Sarah Kemp, manager of advocacy and legal services with Sisters in Islam, has told Radio Australia the government is abusing the law.
We can clearly compare this to the seditious statements issued by some people who are calling for racial hatred, racial violence, for example, recently, but no one was subjected to this act. But when it comes to the opposition, when it comes to the activists, the authorities are very fast to action under the Sedition Act.
North Korean special envoy who's told a top Chinese official that Pyongyang is prepared to pursue dialogue with other countries. Chinese state media reports that the North wants to work towards peace on the Korean peninsula and is willing to accept plans for wider talks. Tensions have simmered on the peninsula in recent months after North Korea's nuclear and missile tests. Listening to Radio Australia. Australians are mourning the loss of Hazel Falk, the ex-wife of former Prime Minister Bob Hawke, who has died at the age of 83. Leslie Mueller reports.
Hazel Hawke is being celebrated as a remarkable woman who made a huge contribution to public life in Australia. She was married to former Prime Minister Bob Hawke for almost 40 years and used the spotlight to campaign for causes such as reconciliation, drug education and women's rights. She was a patron of the arts and a talented pianist. She also worked to raise awareness about Alzheimer's after revealing she had the disease in 2003. Her close friend, Wendy McCarthy, says she was a rare person.
That's wholesome, the feet on the ground, bravery and the courage, but that sense of being of the people.
Mrs. Hawke died peacefully yesterday, surrounded by family. She is survived by her 3 children and 6 grandchildren.
And outside of Australia, Chief Executive Ben Rees says Hazel Hawke helped to raise awareness about dementia in Australia.
Hazel Hawke